Here we go.
Inside the 20, touchdown!
You can win!
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Sound
The
insane.
only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
I told you and I told you. Touchdown.
Man, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You surprised me. I thought you were going to be awful, but you were dreadful.
Championship.
Welcome into another edition of the Two Bald A-Holes. I am Brian Hill, joined as always by the one and only Jimmy the Wop.
Jimmy the Wop.
James the Wop? I don't know. Whatever.
Jimmy the Wop.
Jimmy the Wop?
Yeah.
Jimmy the Wop.
Always
yeah.
Jimmy the Wop. No. James the Wop doesn't have the same.
Does it?
Nah.
Seems too formal. Way too
I'm not
formal for you.
I'm not
right?
formal. All right.
I'm gonna hang by the bar. Put out the vibe. Okay.
Dismiss that notion right off the bat. All right, so week 3 is pretty much in the books. We do have a game going, kicking off here in a little bit. The Chicago Bears versus the Washington Redskins. You were mentioning before we hit record that you need a 17 out of Allen Robinson tonight in order for a big victory to avoid going 0-3.
To avoid an 0-3 in a pretty easy league. I call my team easy money because this league, they just give you their money. And I could be 0-3 and I'll never hear the end of it. So let's just pray to God. Allen Robinson, 17 in PPR, he should be able to do that.
It could happen.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I know the rest of our
Everybody's rooting for
are
me.
certainly, but yeah, we're all rooting for you.
Except
We're
for the
all
guys in
rooting
that league that
Yeah.
are just praying to God that I go 0-3.
Right. Well, I think the reason I think it was interesting to mention that is because of the fact that, like you said, you call that team easy money, probably because it's filled with a bunch of guys that when you left the draft and you looked at your team, you thought to yourself,
Oh my
I've got
God.
studs.
Studs everywhere, yeah.
And here we are after 3 weeks, and we're starting to see that a lot of the guys that we thought were going to be fantasy studs are not. So what we're going to do in this episode is we're actually going to look at some of those guys, and we're going to play a little bit of like, would you rather? We're going to be asking the tough questions of, would you rather have this guy or that guy? So give you an example. We're going to ask, would you rather have Todd Gurley or Joe Mixon the rest of the way? We're going to ask questions like, would you rather have Darren Waller or Zach Ertz?
Oh, I love that one.
And who would have thought that we'd be asking questions like
Yeah,
this?
but we're going to be asking questions where you're going to say 3 weeks ago, if you would ask these questions, people would say there's something wrong with you. You got your brain damage or something to be asking Ertz versus Waller.
You fucking crazy, man. You sound insane. Do you realize that?
Waller went in round 13
Right.
and Ertz went in round 2, 3, or 4. But that's where we are. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a season with this many. I mean, there's always obviously players that are busts, sleepers, but not like this. Not like this. All those receivers we talked about, the Terry McLaurin's and all those guys, they're all still doing well.
Absolutely.
It's just it's incredible how strange this season's been. So
All right. Well, before we do that, though, we're also going to give out some awards, and we're going to do a little Did You Know? So we're going to have a lot of fun tonight, but we're going to start with the top story of the week, I guess the biggest piece of breaking news, and that is, of course, the New York Giants, primarily quarterback Daniel Jones and running back Saquon Barkley. So let's start with Daniel Jones. Look, kid comes out, obviously, big victory in his first start. It's never easy to win in the NFL. Tampa, look, maybe not the toughest opponent, but that defense has been playing.
They've been playing well.
They've been playing, pretty well. So has a huge first game. So talk a little bit about Daniel Jones. And I think the main question that's probably on everybody's mind, fantasy owners and real football fans, is it real? Or how much of that can we expect, going forward? What'd you think of Daniel Jones in his first game?
Well, I will say Tampa's defense the first 2 weeks looked very good, formidable. And then he goes on the road. You said it's hard to win in the NFL. It's hard to win on the road,
Absolutely.
especially. First game, you got the jitters. Everybody made fun of him. It was a terrible pick by the Giants. And then he comes in and he just has an amazing game. They win the game. I mean, it's a little bit different of a story if this idiot kicker could just make a field goal or an extra point. He couldn't even make, he missed 2 extra points. So it's a different game if that happens and Tampa wins the game like they should have. But it's obviously a great story. And now all the Giants fans, the worst fans in football, by the way, the absolute most despicable
The
people.
worst?
I grew up in Jersey, and I'm not bragging about that. I came to Florida to get the hell out of Jersey. I was like, as soon as I graduated college, I was on a plane. I skipped graduation. It's a true story. I took my last final, and I was on a flight that night. I was like, "They're not going to grad? No, I'm getting out of here. Getting out of Jersey." Because the Jets and Giants fans are just the worst fans of football. They make fun of them. They boom.
The New York Giants select Daniel Jones, quarterback, Duke.
No! The pick that sent Twitter into a frenzy.
Daniel Jones.
Giants fans are living.
Go to Lizzie in Westchester. What's up, Lizzie?
Big Giants fan. I mean, I'm just losing my mind. I'm totally confused. I mean, I need help here, guys.
The Giants stole the back pages this morning, and fans are furious. The Giants' message to those fans?
What would I say to them? In time, you'll be very pleased.
He's a bum. They're making, and then all of a sudden he's the savior. They love him. They were saying, "Oh, maybe you shouldn't have benched Eli. You won 2 Super Bowls." Oh, now who's Eli? Eli's nobody.
Right.
So Giants fans are the worst. They're the worst. I mean, Eli Manning held up that shirt. He wouldn't even hold up the hat when the Chargers drafted him. They had the rights to any player they want. That's how the NFL works. And this little, rich kid, I don't want to play for them. He goes to his dad, he cries to his dad and his big brother, and they work it out with the agent, and they say, okay, we'll put him in New York. And it's like, he's just a disgrace, and I'm glad he's out of football now, and hopefully we never see him again. So,
ooh, okay.
Yeah, but worse than Eli is the fans. The fans are worse than Eli.
Listen, I've got to take your word for it. You are from there, so I'm going to take your word for it. I just assume that Jets fans, from what I've seen, living down here in South Florida, of course, you come across a lot of, Jets and Giants fans, but Jets fans I always found to be the worst. I always found the Jets fans I guess maybe they always seem to be in the most denial. I remember getting into a conversation with a Jets fan one time, and the guy was literally passionately trying to convince me that Mark Sanchez was a good quarterback.
Yeah,
so it's like no matter what,
in college he was. That's what he meant.
They will stick with their players, and they will find that glass half full approach to everything.
You got to give them credit. I mean, they haven't won since Namath. I mean, the Giants have won. They won with Phil Simms.
Short field goal try.
Yeah, and then got to remember the win. We've talked about that, and I think it's warmed up though, Jim. Just to talk about the atmosphere of the game. What do you think? Are you warmer now than you were earlier in the game? Or are you just numb?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm worried about you.
And people will tell you he was a good. The guy was a bum.
Well, he had a defense.
But I'm saying they won with him. They won with obviously Eli won 2.
Kerry Collins,
dude.
Kerry Collins.
4.5 to play in the first quarter. First down, Giants. Little flea flicker. Collins, wide open receiver downfield, and he threw to the wrong man.
That's why you heard the moan from the crowd. Everybody, hey, even the crowd can spot this open receiver.
I'm just saying. I mean,
unbelievable.
Eli with his 2, obviously, Super Bowls over the Patriots. So, look, I mean, if you're a Giants fan, I think you have to be excited about the future. You have to be excited that they finally made the move and that, you're done with the Eli Manning era. He got you a couple Super Bowl rings, so
so God bless him. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, which is disgusting for me to say. I've listened to a lot of people make the argument, and they say basically he's a shoo-in, and I'm like, oh my God, I almost drove off the road. I was sort of
just because I guess the rings.
The rings are so important.
It is. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a joke.
When you look at how many teams out there either don't have a Super Bowl or it's been X amount of years since they've won a Super Bowl. When you look at how many great quarterbacks have played this game and not come away with a ring, so I guess getting 2 rings, and especially over teams like the Patriots had.
Yeah, I think the rings are the most overrated things ever. I mean, Doug Williams has a ring. Trent Dilfer has a ring. Phil Simms has a couple of rings. Hostetler, I think, has a ring.
Yeah.
So the ring really is that, Jim Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls in a row, 4 years in a row.
Right.
Guy misses an easy kick. He doesn't have a ring. I mean, so he's no longer. He
But he's
can't
in
be in
the
the
Hall of Fame.
conversation.
I mean,
I'm
he
saying,
got into
though,
the
like,
Hall of Fame.
people
I mean,
say
Trent
he can't be one
Dilfer's
of the-
not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
and,
no,
you
it's
know,
true. It's true.
Hostetler's not.
It's just
in the
what
Hall
I'm
of
saying
Fame.
is that the ring is a little bit overrated.
Well, yeah. What I always disagreed with is when people wanted to say that Joe Montana was the best quarterback of all time
Because he had 4
because he
rings,
had
yeah.
those rings. And you know, we talked in the last episode about Dan Marino and the fact that, you know, he was clearly, in my
One of
opinion,
the
as
best,
well. Yeah, one of the best, maybe the best. Pure passer, the stats he put
Competitors
up. Right.
come from behind victories in the fourth quarter. Look it up. It's just incredible.
That boy is good. Good and terrible.
Look what he was doing back then. I mean, and he went up against that 85 Bears team.
And beat
had,
him, yeah.
So,
Beat him.
So you said that Eli Manning, done forever, huh? Is that?
I would imagine. Who's going to take a chance on him? He wants to be a backup somewhere, hold a clipboard. We'll never see him in the NFL again.
I think that could be good. That could be a good question of the week. Will Eli Manning ever be a starter in the NFL again?
Well, he will if Daniel Jones gets hurt. But you saying other than that? You're saying like in the offseason somebody brings him in and says, we want you as our quarterback?
As our starter.
Be imprecise. Be rage-inducing. Eli Manning and his Citizen Echo Drive, fueled by interceptions, any interceptions, a watch that never needs a battery. Be stoppable. Offer not valid against New England.
I mean, I can't imagine a team is going to choose. Okay, so let me say that. Will Eli Manning ever be a starter by choice or by earning it? I mean, I guess you could see a situation like this year with Keenum in Washington where he just kind of Forrest Gumps his way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's possible. Right.
So listen, my thing with Daniel Jones is again, yes, I agree. The kid did look good.
He looked good, yeah.
I'm not as excited as I've been hearing, some people out there. And the only reason being, look, a lot of his passing yardage, you had the huge play to Ingram, which was a short pass that he, busted for the long gain. The rushing touchdown in the end, that's just a breakdown by the Buccaneers defense. Right. Okay. I understand you don't have a lot of film on this kid, but you have enough of a profile on him from his college days and what he's capable of doing. And he had already rushed one in earlier in the game.
Right.
So
give the kid credit though. He saw it and he ran and he
absolutely.
So I mean, listen, he did what he had to do. He won the game. He was on the road, first start. Now he loses Barkley. So going back to that's a big loss. He's going to probably be out about 6 to 8 weeks. They're saying 4 to 8, but that's not realistic. It's more like 6 to 8. And now Golden Tate's still out 1 more week, so he's kind of down a lot of weapons, and he's got some tough matchups coming up.
4 of his next 6. He's going to be facing the Vikings, the Patriots, the Lions, and the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's brutal. This week, though, he does go back home. I think he plays the Redskins. That's a beautiful game for him.
Absolutely.
That should be, and the Redskins will be on a short week. They're playing tonight. So that's a good game for him. I mean, it would be great if he had Barkley, but even without Barkley, he should be good in that game. So
absolutely. We're going to touch a little bit on some of the other Giant skill position players and our thoughts in a later.
We got to talk about that more
in a later segment.
Torture the WAP day. I mean, come on. The Giants.
Every day is Torture the WAP day.
Yeah, that's true.
At the T-ball A-holes. All right, so and then you just touched on it. The other, of course, huge piece of news, both fantasy football and real football. Saquon Barkley comes out. Looks like it's going to be anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, which is such a tough time frame to work with. 4 to 8 weeks. He came out and said this is something similar that I had in college where he missed like 2 weeks. But everything is else that you're hearing is 4 to 8 weeks. I think we might, we're gonna have we're gonna have tips of the week. We might want to move a fresh one in there, which is don't fall for the injury prone label all the time. Right. It's the NFL. Right. Bones are bones, muscles are muscles. We've talked about this. Everybody can get hurt. Absolutely. So to come out of a draft saying, well, I didn't prioritize backing up a certain guy because he hasn't been injured yet. You don't have, I don't think you have any more protection. But anyways, yeah, certainly a tough loss for the Giants, tough loss for fantasy owners who took Barkley. Let's just hope that it's, closer to 4.
Yeah, for
4 than 8.
I don't have him anywhere, so I'm hoping it's closer to 8. And I don't think that this backup is going to do all that much. I mean, Barkley's a unique talent.
But what about all the fantasy owners who do have?
Our listeners? I feel bad for them. I hope they get them back. Yeah, just our listeners, though.
That seems real sincere. All right. Are you ready to give out some awards?
Yeah, let's give out some awards.
Everybody likes to give out awards. Everybody likes to receive awards.
I like to receive them.
Yeah.
I like the 15th place Gaylord Fokker Awards.
Look at all your awards. That's great.
He's my champion.
Well, I didn't know they made 9th place ribbons.
Oh, Jack, they got him all the way up to 10th place.
Those are the best.
The participation award? Well, I'm not saying that everybody is on this list is going to, appreciate their award. So let's start with the positive. Let's start with somebody who might appreciate their award from the two bald a-holes. And that is our Redeemer of the Week. Wide receiver, Mike Evans.
Wow.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
Yeah. Your opportunity to buy low
is over.
Has passed, unfortunately. Talk a little bit about your boy, my boy, everybody's boy, Mike Evans. Redeemer of the Week.
Yeah, Mike Evans, it's weird because the first 2 weeks of the season, Mike Evans, who was a consensus mid-late second rounder, if you got him in early third, you were ecstatic. He had a slow start, but so did O.J. Howard.
Right.
So you're like, wait a minute, 2 of the top 3 weapons? It's not like the running game was doing all that much. So it was a very strange start for Tampa. But you had to know Arians would get it going. He would fix some problems. You can't be too confident O.J. Howard because Arians has never been known to go to the tight end.
Right.
But you have to know that Evans is going to eventually get back on track.
Right. You're not going to let your superstar player
the number one, 6'5", 225. He's a monster. He was going to get going. Godwin is going to have his too. There's plenty of room for both of them to eat. And they have a, so-so defense. It's playing better than people thought. But yeah, Evans is definitely a guy that you should have bought low on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were panicking. I hope nobody made any stupid trades. But if you sold low on him, which makes no sense, you're really kicking yourself.
Flukes of the Week. So we gave out a good award. It's a little bit downhill from here. And we're going to start with the Flukes of the Week. We've got 2 winners here. And one of the winners is actually a co-winner. Are you keeping up with all this?
I'm trying.
You're not making any sense at all.
I'm trying. I hope our viewers are. I'm
co-winner of one of the co-champions of the Flukes of the Week is the Houston Texans tight ends. Yeah. And that would be your boy, Darren Fells.
And big fan.
And Atkins. And I'm only saying Atkins because I don't even know the guy's first name. Right. And I said to myself, I'm not even going to look it up.
It's not worth it.
Why bother?
Don't even. It's just disregard it. Make believe it never happened.
Now you need tight end. You're hurting for tight end. Are you?
I am desperate for tight end, and neither one of those are even on my wish list.
Okay.
I wouldn't bid a half a penny on either one of
them. So, all right, Fluke. Yeah, definitely fluky. I think it was Atkins' 80-yard touchdown was completely blown coverage. So pay no attention to the Houston tight ends.
Those are 2 flukes. Yeah.
All right. The other fluke that we identified, co-winner of the Fluke of the Week, is running back Tony Pollard, Dallas Cowboys. Look, had a great game, 13 carries, 101 yards, touchdown, but it was against the Miami Dolphins. Right. Garbage time, game out of reach.
22-point spread. I mean, you saw that coming. They're not going to use Zeke, and they shouldn't. No. I mean, we love them. We're fantasy fans, and we want our guys to play, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the first half. Second half, when you're up by 3 or 4 scores, you're not going to use your horses. Look what happened to Barkley this week. You don't want to take any chances. Every single play is another chance the guy could be out 4 to 8 weeks.
Absolutely.
Or worse. Right. So
yeah, it's like be careful, as a fantasy owner, don't get too greedy. You know what I mean? Right. If the team is saying, hey, what's best is that we don't risk him getting injured for the rest of the season, don't be the guy saying, boy, I wish I would have gotten 6 more points, from my guy. Especially if he's already turned in a quality day. Toast of the week. Burnt toast, put a fork in them. You can name this, you can get creative.
Stick a fork in the toast.
Hey, look at you. You just got creative.
Can you believe it?
Lucy paints portraits of Barbara Streisand. Right?
I do these from TV.
Really?
That just happened.
If only your boy Keenum could get creative.
Ooh, well,
he wouldn't be down 28-0 at halftime.
I don't know why he's got to be my boy. What about Taylor Gabriel? That's for
wow, 3 touchdowns in 1 half. Wow.
For all our viewers,
is that a fluke? Is he the new fluke of the week, or is that?
Well, right, he's the early front runner.
He's the front runner.
Oh, you mean like right now? Can we just move?
He's still part of this week, right?
Do we want to call it right here? Want to add him to the list?
Unbelievable.
Taylor Gabriel. Yeah, we filmed this on Monday, so the game's going on off to the side of us, and Taylor Gabriel just caught his 3rd touchdown of the night, and this
was
third one,
impressive.
really
That
nice,
was
really
impressive.
nice. So we'll see. No, we're gonna say like I said though, toast of the week. Bert Toast put a fork in him of the week. Co-winners in this one as well. First one, wide receiver Stephon Diggs, Minnesota Vikings. This was it. I mean, if he didn't do something this week based off the fact they were playing the Raiders and you just wanted to see some kind of signs of life, and I mean, he's done.
It's not good. I mean, he's going to have a week here and there that you're going to say, oh, man, but it's going to be few and far between. They don't want to throw. They want to run the ball. They're doing great running it with Cook and Madison. They're playing great defense. It's just not going to happen. Once in a blue moon, he's a great receiver. We're not saying he's a bad receiver. A lot of these comments are just based on what the team wants to do, the philosophy of the team. And then you got another great receiver on the team, too. So when they do throw, you don't know if it's going to go to him, or if Smith got involved this week a little. They throw to Cook. It's just not enough. I think they threw the ball 21 times.
All right.
Casey, I mean, that's
week one. It was 10 attempts. Yeah.
So this is a low volume offense passing the ball.
Right.
You do not want Diggs in your lineup. Sell Diggs. He's got name value. There are probably people out there that are hurting. The guy that had Antonio Brown, go to him. And maybe he's short. Go to somebody that's just not having any, the Devontae Adam owner. Maybe he's getting a little paranoid and say, hey, would you like Diggs? I could throw you Diggs. Why don't you give me your 3rd running back or your 2nd tight end, or try to upgrade.
I mean,
get rid of Diggs. That's my suggestion.
He may,
don't start him. If you can't trade him, just bench him. Bench him until something changes on this team. If it changes, like they lose a couple of defenders, the defense goes down, and they have to start throwing something. You're going to need a miracle for Diggs to be,
because even Thielen, I mean, he's been bailed out by a couple touchdowns. Yeah. But, Listen, I think you don't want to drop him. You're not going to drop a guy like Stephon Diggs on the waivers. I mean,
you'll get something for him,
right? Well, I think
you just got to find the idiot in the league.
I was going to say, you reminded our viewers every league usually
there's an idiot. Yeah, and you got to find that idiot. Our league has like 3 or 4 idiots. So if you guys are listening, if you want Diggs, we'll give them to you. We'll find him and give them to you.
All right, we'll do a 3-way trade. The other Bart Toast put a fork in him winner is running back Latavius Murray, New Orleans Saints, not on the Minnesota Vikings.
Rest in peace.
Sure. Same thing, similar to Diggs. I mean, tough guy to drop just because obviously it is only week 3. We know what he could be if maybe, with a Kamara injury, but this is not what we expected to see. Certainly, it does not appear that he is anywhere near the Mark Ingram role. That's not what the Saints, plan on doing with him, because it's not tied to a lack of production, off of the touches and the work he's getting. He's just not getting the work. Yes, you can kind of maybe look at it and say, hey, they were on the road in Seattle. Big, that's a big game. They have to win. So they're not going to take any chances. They're going to give the work to Kamara, and that could explain somewhat, why he was, pretty much non-existent this week. But last week, very similar. So real quickly, I mean, Latavius Murray, are you holding? Are you selling? I mean, what?
I'm holding. I'm just going to stash him. I have him in a couple leagues. Just stash him. Anything happens to Kamara, it's a lottery ticket. It could be a game-winning guy. He's the guy if anything happens to Kamara. We know he could play. He played for the Vikings. He was very productive when Cook went down last year. I mean, the bottom line is, he has the skill set. I don't know what Sean Payton's doing. He's running Kamara to the ground. I don't know what he's doing. But these guys weigh 205 pounds. You can't run them this much between the tackles. You can't give them the short yardage. So eventually, my prediction is if they don't change it and start giving this guy 20, 30% of the carries, Kamara's going to wear down. He's going to get hurt. We've seen it happen to Barkley now. We've seen it happen to Kevin Coleman. These are big guys. You tell me it can't happen to Kamara? It absolutely can, and it will, is my prediction, because he's just not a big guy that can handle that kind of workload. So, I'd hold on to him. Why not?
Really
Running backs are hard.
Really
hard
strange as to why, I mean, why they go out, they sign them, they aggressively kind of pursued them, signed them. The Mark Ingram role seemed to be working was working fine. So
they said they wanted to reduce Kamara's snaps. They wanted to reduce some of his workload. I think that's 3 weeks in. maybe they need to just start thinking about that. They're going to say, you know what, we've given Kamara too much of a workload. Let's scale it back a little bit. I wouldn't give up on him yet. Just wait a little bit. Like I said, if anything happens to Kamara, you will be so sick that you dropped him, you won't even be able to sleep at night. So just hold on to him.
The award, your favorite, donkeys of the week. The donkeys of the week. You could call them morons. There's a lot of names.
Chokers.
Yeah, we're gonna go with
bums.
Yeah. Our first winner, and unfortunately, we're coming back to me on this one. My boy, Freddie Kitchens, head coach, Cleveland Browns. And he's definitely number one on this list because Freddie Kitchens decided to run a draw play on 4th and 9. A draw play.
A draw play.
On 4th and 9.
Against the Rams defense. What? Who had a great defensive line, great linebackers. You're never going to get 9 yards on a draw. What are you thinking?
Listen, you could gather some of the most intelligent minds in the entire world into a room, and I don't think anybody's going to come up with the reason or some kind of justification as to what was going on in his mind. I don't know if you watched, but it was just the weirdest thing. I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. I mean, they were doing that thing where it looked like they were just going to try to draw them off sides, and you figured, okay, why not? And then all of a sudden they snap it, and it's a draw play. Yeah. It's
inexplicable. It's unforgivable. It's ridiculous.
I'm really worried about him and just even as a head coach, that's a very, very questionable decision. Look, we don't know what would have happened if he doesn't decide to do that, but it certainly it had a big effect on the game when you see how close that game was, and obviously that was a huge blunder. So congratulations, Freddie. Our co-winners of the Donkeys of the Week award, another head coach, your boy, Bruce.
I'll take this guy.
You know what?
This guy. You can take Kitchens. I'll take Bruce Arians.
Take him.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Bruce Arians, head coach, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tell the people why Bruce Arians is Donkey of the Week.
Well, Bruce Arians has a kicker that missed 2 extra points yesterday. He's obviously rattled. There's something going on. He's in his head. You're at the end of the game. You get the ball to the 10-yard line. You have, I believe, 18 seconds and a timeout. Call the timeout. Take 2 or 3 shots at the end zone to your big 6'5", 230 All-Pro, having the game of his life, Mike Evans.
I was going to say, he was having an okay game up to that point.
You just throw him a couple of corner routes, fades that only he can catch. And if they don't work out, great. Kick the field goal. And if he misses the field goal, then you can say at least we tried. Don't put the game on the shoulders of your kicker who is having a rough day, and it's going to be a pressure kick at the end of the game. Why would you put yourself in that situation? You had enough time. Try to score the touchdown. Right. I know Winston makes mistakes and he throws picks, and I know people are like, oh my God, if he would have thrown a pick, everybody would say, why didn't he just kick the field goal? Why? Because the guy missed They were a lot shorter than that field goal was going to be. That's why we didn't kick the field goal. We tried. We went to Mike Evans or O.J. Howard. Real safe throws. Bruce Arians is supposed to be an offensive wizard. You have to have a chance to.
Well, I was saying you're protected there as to if he does throw a pick, and people are asking why.
Yeah, say because my kicker stinks. And I wasn't letting him I wasn't putting the game on his shoulder. Right. I was putting it on my boy Evans. I
was going to at least try.
Yeah.
I was going to at least try to not have to put it, with Matt Gay. Is that his name? Matt Gay?
Matt Gay.
Matt Gay. And, we were thinking about just giving Matt Gay the prestigious honor of winning the Donkey Award. But then we realized actually it falls more on Arians than.
Yeah, and we also don't want to lose the LGBT community. A lot of viewers there. We don't want them to think that we're.
Absolutely.
You understand. We're equal opportunity people here,
Are you ready to play everybody's favorite game? The game that is sweeping the nation?
I'm so ready.
I don't know if you
I can't wait till you break it to me here.
We're going to play a little Would You Rather.
Oh, Would You
Rather?
Would you rather get a massage from a man or surgery from a female doctor? Wow.
I'm going to ask you some tough questions, and I'm going to hope that you give the right answers.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's really no right or wrong, though. I want you to know that going in. There's no right or wrong.
I appreciate the vote of confidence.
All right, so right off the bat, would you rather rest of the way? So essentially, we're gonna take two players and we're gonna ask, who would you rather have the rest of the way? First off the bat, would you rather have running back Josh Jacobs or Sony Michel the rest of the way?
I would say Sony Michel just because of that offense. I mean, they said this week Gruden's going to start throwing the ball. This guy's not getting any catches, any targets, but that's coach talk. But then again, he'd be crazy not to give it to him. So Jacobs is probably the smart, but I would say Michel just because that offense is so explosive. And he's the guy. Doesn't look great right now, but as long as he stays healthy. So it's a good question. I think I would go Michel.
Doesn't look like he's doing anything. I mean,
Yeah,
Sony Michel, man, that's really surprising that he looks as vanilla and blah as he. I mean, we knew he wasn't going to. You weren't going to be able to count on him in a PPR as far as the receptions, but.
Right.
I think you were counting on plenty of yardage.
Oh yeah, and goal line.
Plenty of goal line opportunities. He's starting to drift towards, one of those guys. If he doesn't get in the end zone, he doesn't get a goal line, he's gonna just, sink your team, and that's a very dangerous guy, to play. Right. But you're right, Josh Jacobs, on the other hand, almost similar, where they're not involving him a lot in the passing game.
And he's got a brutal schedule. That's why I avoided him. Yeah. And he had a great week one, and all of a sudden I was like, oh man, did I miss it? No, he's had 2 bad weeks in a row, and he's got a brutal schedule coming up. So I would go with Michel. Go with that amazing offense, an amazing team, and I just hope he gets his act together. Yeah, I would go with Michel.
Queen Latifah or Halle Berry, but she's been dead for 6 hours.
Quarterback, Jimmy G or Jacoby Brissett the rest of the way?
I'm going to go with Jimmy G just because I'm just going to lean towards Shanahan figuring it out. Right now, they're trying to figure out who they have. Is it Debo Samuel? Is it Goodwin? Is it Pettis to go with Kittle? They got a bunch of receiving backs. They'll get back Coleman soon. I think they'll figure it out in San Fran. But I'll tell you what, the safer pick's Brissett. But the upside pick is Jimmy G.
How much does the fact that Jimmy G bangs porn stars factor into his...
I think I would ask Jimmy G to stop banging porn stars till after the season is over because women weaken the knees, Rock.
Women weaken legs.
Remember, Mickey never let Rocky have sex before a fight.
I've heard that.
There's a reason for that. Jimmy G, lay off the porn stars for a little while, buddy. We can get them in the offseason. You got 6 months, $30 million a year. You'll be fine.
Grab him by the pussy.
Let Amy Winehouse spit in your mouth or eat a raw slice of Anderson Cooper's ass.
This is one of those, we talked about at the opening that the fact that we're even asking some of these questions is mind-blowing, but we're going to ask it. Lamar Miller or Aaron Rodgers the rest of the way?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Why don't you get a toupee with some brains in it?
Or either one. However you want to do it.
All right, so Lamar Jackson, who was the other guy? Aaron Rodgers? I would take Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Lamar Jackson, I think.
Really?
Lamar Jackson just got exposed a little bit. I was not a big Lamar Jackson. I don't think he throws the ball well at all. I mean, obviously, that's not a newsflash heading into the season. Right. But the first 2 weeks, all of a sudden, people, he figured out how to throw. Now he's a great passer, and he's going to be up there with Mahomes and Prescott. And then he plays Kansas City, who, Minshew did well against them. Foles threw a touchdown, I think. Carr threw a touchdown. He couldn't throw a touchdown. He ran one in the end when the game was pretty much out of hand. And I think that Rodgers is starting to get acclimated with this LaFleur offense. He's got MVS. He's got Devontae Adams hasn't even gotten going yet at all. Not at all. So I think that as he gets more familiarized with the offense, you got to look at the schedule. I mean, he played Chicago on the road. Then he played Minnesota. This week, Denver's got a good pass rush, and there are no slouches on defense. And he started getting going this week. I think the schedule will soften, and I think you're going to want Rodgers.
For me, it's Lamar Jackson. I mean, it's definitely not Lamar Miller. But
I hope not. Jeez Louise. You're gonna have to wait till next year on him.
No, I mean, look, Lamar Jackson. We knew that the accuracy when it comes to throwing the ball. Of course, it was fluky what he did the first 2 weeks. I just think the rushing ability, and I think the fact that Green Bay appears to have a defense. Not that Baltimore is any slouch, when it comes to defense, but I just feel like the rushing ability of Lamar Jackson. I mean,
Yeah,
look,
he's
I
got
don't
a high
care.
floor. He's
Yeah,
got a
let
high
him throw
floor.
for 180 yards and, one
run for
touchdown.
one,
But, right, he can run for 80 to, 120 yards. And having that safety net. Whereas with Rodgers, I think that offense is now more set up for the fact that they have a defense that can keep them in games. And they certainly, look, for the last couple of years, Rodgers has gotten injured. They don't, they know that their only path to a playoff push and a Super Bowl run is a healthy Aaron Rodgers. So I'm a little bit concerned. You mentioned Davante Adams. He hasn't gotten going yet, but also he hasn't gotten going because the targets haven't been there. I mean, 4 targets, whereas MVS had 10.
Yeah, no, they're double teaming him. He's going somewhere else. That's what great quarterbacks do. But Lamar Jackson's running a lot, and you like the floor he gives you, but you also got to wonder, is he going to take that hit? All those running quarterbacks, they always get hurt.
Absolutely. Look, that's a good point. I mean, that's obviously why, with Rodgers, why you could probably imagine why he's not running.
He's not running anymore, right? They learned their lesson.
Absolutely.
Letting him run.
Would you have sex with Cleveland if it meant you could have sex with Angelina Jolie?
All right, we touched on this one. We opened up. Todd Gurley or Joe Mixon the rest of the way. 2 underperformers that were both going somewhere, late first, early second.
Yeah, my heart's saying Gurley because I have him in a league and I don't have Mixon anywhere. But I don't know. I just feel safer with Mixon. I don't know what's going on with the Rams. I feel like when Dalton gets back, A.J. Green, that offense, they got a new offense coordinator. They have a whole new coaching staff, and they're really creative. They had a tough matchup this week. Everybody knew this was going to be a tough matchup. But then the schedule softens for Dalton. I think Dalton, with all these receivers, especially when he gets back A.J. Green, he'll have Boyd, he'll have Ross. He's got a couple of competent tight ends that, aren't game changers, but they can catch the ball, and Eifert and Azuma, whatever his name is. I can never say their names.
You feel me?
But anyway, I think that Mixon, things are going to open up a little bit for him, and I think he's safer. He doesn't have a bad knee, an arthritic knee like Gurley does. He doesn't have Malcolm Brown stealing his touches. He doesn't have Henderson lurking. Yeah, he's got Bernard. So, yeah, I would say Mixon. I'm pretty much saying that Gurley's now a flex player.
What? The thing with the Rams right now is that, similar to Green Bay, Davante Adams, not doing much and all this kind of stuff, but they're winning. They're 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. The Rams are 3-0. I don't see why they change anything.
Right.
I think they're going to coast to the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Let this guy rest his knee and then use him in the playoffs. So that's not good for us. That's not good for fantasy people,
Absolutely. Well, I lean Gurley just because of, I think, the upside of.
Yeah, I mean, the upside we know. He's the MVP kind of player.
But I can certainly see, why somebody or, one particular ball they hold would go Mixon.
Right, here's another one. Black or crippled?
Speaking of crazy pills, here's another one. Tight end, Darren the Walrus Waller or Zach Ertz?
Definitely Waller. No doubt about it. I wouldn't even blink. Yeah, I wouldn't even blink. Whoa. I mean, all right, so the Raiders have Tyrell Williams and Waller. The Eagles have 100 people. I mean, some of them are hurt. 100? I mean, they have Jeffrey, who he'll be back. Djax will be back. They have Aguilar, who's taken over now. They have Goddard. They have Ertz. They have Whitehead. They just have a million names plus a lot of running backs. The Raiders don't have anybody. They have a bad defense.
Right.
They're going to throw all the time. They have a very offensive-minded coach, very creative. He loves Waller. And he's a freak of nature. He's a receiver playing tight end. So, no, I would go Waller. I know that's the other thing is a lot of these people, like Ertz was taken in the second, third, or fourth, and then Waller was taken in rounds 13, 14. But you got to forget about that. Right. You got to look at it now, like what, and that's why when you're listening to this, you might say, "Oh, what is he talking about? Waller's, he's a fluke, or he's, Ertz has been the best guy for X amount." None of that matters. What is going on now? Right. What is the team scheme? How many mouths do they have to feed? And Wentz doesn't look all that great right now. So, no, give me Waller. Give me Waller. They're going to be losing all the time, throwing. He just had a monster breakout game. More to come.
Yeah, I mean, just to think that, hey, look, somebody, if you're a Zach Ertz owner, somebody sent you a trade offer saying, I'm going to give you, Darren Waller for Zach Ertz. Right. I mean, don't think to yourself, I can't do that. Because then you're just going off a name.
Yeah, if you're an Ertz owner, go try to make that trade. You might have missed a window though, because Waller just blew up.
13 catches, it's
and the
3
whole
straight weeks, but
Hard Knocks and all that. His name's out there, so it might be too late. But if he has one dud, I would go buy low on him right away. Right. If he could even, I don't know if he's gonna have a dud. His floor looks really high to me now.
Absolutely, especially in a PPR, of course.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to take it up a notch. Hispanic female doctor or gay male masseuse?
So let's keep it. Let's keep it tight end. This is an interesting one. Vernon Davis or Vance McDonald. And we just want to quickly preface, this is some big breaking news. I'm surprised we didn't lead with this. I know you wanted us to.
Yeah.
But I'm only asking Vernon Davis or Vance McDonald because word out of the Redskins organization is that a lot of people in that organization think that Jordan Reed has played his last game of football, will never play football again. I know that brings you a lot of excitement.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for I'm happy for his family. I mean, I said this earlier, 7 concussions, man. Get the hell out of football, man.
Absolutely.
And listen, you've been the most injury-prone player maybe in the history of the game, in our generation at least. Yeah. So just, it's time. You should have put some money away. It's time. He's got to retire. Cam's got to retire. Eli's got to retire.
I'm recently retired.
You are retired?
Yes. And now,
physical or mental?
And Luck's got to stay a quitter because we don't want quitters to come back. You
insensitive asshole!
You can't have, what is he, Ross Perot? He's going to come back and try to, re-enter the race.
You think he's going to do it? You think, Andrew Luck's going to do like a...
Well, after he sees our podcast.
Willis Reed, triumphant return? Yeah, right. I'll show that.
I'll show that ball they
hold.
I'll show
those. Take ball they hold. What about Carlos Hyde? He should probably join him too. Huh?
Nah, he's actually looking.
No, he's not.
So Vernon Davis, or
looks like he's playing football, but that's about it.
Or McDonald. I'm going to say the Redskins are in need. I'm going to go McDonald. I'm still sticking with McDonald. I think that a rookie quarterback's best friend is always the tight end. So I think McDonald, he had 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he had a bad week, but I think McDonald's my guy.
So we watched the opening drive of the Redskins here Monday Night Football, and we just saw Case Keenum throw to a guy named Sprinkle, who dropped a wide open pass. So, I mean, you got to imagine. I don't know how many, other outside of this McLaurin kid, not a lot of options for, Washington, whether it's Keenum or you talked about rookies loving tight ends.
Yeah, right.
If,
Haskins.
If Haskins takes over that job, could he make old man Vernon Davis at least a decent tight end?
Relevant again,
yeah. To be seen, so to say. That about wraps up our edition of Would You Rather.
Would you rather? It was enjoyable. It was challenging questions, very challenging. Except for the Ertz question, believe it or not, that was the easiest one.
Well,
and that's the craziest thing is that Waller over Ertz.
Right.
And it's
was the easiest question.
That was the easiest one.
The easiest question
that's mind-boggling.
Possibly to ask. Obviously, as always, we want your guys' opinion. Want to know what you guys have to say about this, about these tough questions, and want to know if you agree or disagree with us.
Yeah, go through the ones we just went through hypothetically, and just let us know if you agree or disagree, and we'd love to hear some feedback.
Insult us, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, insult us, our bald, shiny heads.
It's time for Tips of the Week.
Wow.
So you got any advice for me? Generally.
Huh? That's exciting.
Yeah, just the tips.
Tips of the week. All right. Number 1 tip of the week. Keep an eye on running back Miles Sanders. Why? Why should owners keep an eye on him over these next couple weeks, and then, maybe what they should do after that?
Well, he's got Green Bay and then the Jets. Green Bay, they've been giving us some running back yards. So if he has 2 good games, we're recommending that you sell high.
You idiot! Get back in there at once and sell!
Oh, we think he's going to do pretty decent these next 2 weeks. And then after that, he's got Minnesota on the road. He's got Dallas on the road. He's got Buffalo on the road. Then he's got Chicago at home, which is just as bad no matter where you're playing them. And then Seattle, which by then you figure they'll figure out their defense. So he's got a brutal stretch. His playoff schedule is not too bad, but we would think that for all those games, the odds of him having any success are very slim. So if he has a good game against Green Bay, hold on to him for the Jets, and then you might be able to get something good for him. So there was a lot of hype about Miles Sanders.
It's very difficult trying to read the situation. And all the while, you're just really wondering, are we going to get hopped up enough to make some bad decisions? And perhaps play a little game called Just a Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels.
Don't trust beat writers. This is a lesson that a lot of us have already learned, but we got a fresh reminder of it this weekend with the Kansas City and the running back situation. So talk a little bit about tip number 3. Don't trust beat writers.
Beat writers are basically cheerleaders for NFL teams. And if you want to know what that means, they get all excited when they interview somebody and they ask them all these questions like they're friends, and they want to get access to all the players. So they don't want to ask tough questions. They don't want to report things that the coaches don't want them to report. So what they're supposed to do, they're supposed to give you the job. They're supposed to be reporters, like journalists, and tell us what's going on. But that's not what happens. So, for example, Rudolph from the Steelers, when Ben went down last week, he said at the game, yeah, we knew Ben's arm was a problem. This isn't a surprise. And everybody kind of looked at each other like, wait a minute, why wasn't that reported? It's nowhere. You will not find it anywhere, because the beat reporters would not dare report something like that. So basically, these are guys that are bought and sold by the teams. They are completely owned by the teams.
Calling them whores?
Yeah, they're whores. They're basically team whores is what they are.
The Instagram photos, was that good for you to clear
did you like it?
Looked like better than staying in Charlotte.
But did you like it, though? Did you double tap?
No.
And I want you to go back and like the picture.
And
let's just be direct.
So,
Hey,
don't listen to them.
Since when did the 2 ball a-holes beat around the bush?
Yeah. So anyway, they're basically unreliable. They're useless. Don't even listen to them. This week, 1:45, they're saying that McCoy's third in line for carries and that he's not going to. And then what does he do? He goes off for 2 touchdowns, and everybody that benched him, like myself, we got screwed out of a 20, 25-point day. So just don't listen to beat reporters. They are the team whore.
Right. Team whores. And also, we touched a little bit. They're looking for clicks. They're looking for visits to their stories or, to their Twitters or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times, look, if you didn't hear, if it's not coming from the coach or something like that, their source could just be a trainer or something. So it works both ways. I mean, either one, they're a whore for the team and they're only wanting to put out there what the team wants them to put out. And they're trying to, like you said, curry favor with the team so they can get that access to the players.
Absolutely.
Or on the other hand, they're just saying, look, right, like I said, the ball boy, gave me some information. He's going to run with it. Why not?
You know who the NFL's whore is?
Everything.
You know who the NFL's whore is? Who? Adam Schefter.
Your boy.
No.
Just so you know, I got a text from an executive.
How dare you?
He is the biggest.
How dare you say
what
that?
What is this? Every story
somehow
him reporting it. The NFL goes to him and he says what they want him to say. He is literally the spokesman of the NFL.
He has sources.
No, he does
not
have
has sources.
The guy is the NFL's whore, and they totally say, okay, make sure you tell Adam and tell him what to say, what not to say, and he does what he's told, and he cashes his check. The guy's a joke. And then you're hearing it right here on the 2 ball a-holes.
Well, he's a very
Adam Schefter is a joke.
He's a joke.
Yeah,
you sure
just like the beat writers.
You sure you want that out there?
I want it out there. I want it. Joke. Adam Schefter. That's his middle name. Joke.
What is it? It's a very successful whore, that's for sure. So
yeah, well, I mean, listen, whores can be very successful.
Right. If you're gonna hit,
it's the oldest business in the world,
might as well be high end.
Yeah, he's definitely high end.
Come on, throw in a buck.
I don't tip.
You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in tipping.
Next tip of the tip of the week is to start Will Dissly next week in daily fantasy. Start tight end Will Dissly. Tell the people why that's a 2 ball a-hole tip of the week.
Well, Will Dissly's playing Arizona. Arizona has given up monster production to tight ends 3 weeks in a row. In week 1, it was Hawkinson, who hasn't done anything since. He had 130 or whatever and a touchdown. Week 2, Mark Andrews goes in there, 100 yards plus and a touchdown. Week 3, Olsen goes in there and winds up with around 80 and 2 touchdowns. So this week is Dissly. Dissly's got 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games without playing Arizona. Imagine what he's going to do against Arizona. Start Will Dissly in every fantasy daily fantasy league that you're in. And if you have him on your bench as your second or third, he's in your lineup.
Right. Get him in your starting lineup. And then also, I mean, look, in plenty of leagues, he may still be out there on waivers. So,
he may be. Go grab him. Put him in this week. Put him in your flex if you have a guy like Kelsey or you got Waller or you got Andrews or one of the top tight ends. Put him in your flex.
Flex him. Absolutely. And we have bye star this week. Jets and Niners. Hey, Kittle. Yeah, Kittle owners.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Disley's out there, certainly a good start this week in replacement of Kittle. Another guy that we're going to highly recommend as a tip of the week that you start in daily fantasy, and that would be Sterling Shepard, wide receiver, New York Giants. Tell the people why.
So Barkley's out, obviously. That's a lot of targets in the passing game that they're missing.
Saquon Barkley. And then you got Golden Tate is out one more week. So really it's the Ingram Shepard show. So we could basically give you recommendations for both of those two guys. You're starting Ingram anyway, but Ingram, Shepard's obviously, we told you if you're doing DFS, Disley's going to be a lot cheaper than Ingram. Go with Shepard also in DFS because this kid, Daniel Jones, is going to have to throw to somebody. He's going to throw to Shepard. He's going to throw to Ingram. That's all there is to it. And well, their opponent is the Redskins. And the Redskins who are being gashed right now by Taylor Gabriel. Taylor Gabriel, has 3 touchdowns. And so nobody seemed to have struggled to throw against the Redskins. I don't see any reason why that would change. So absolutely. And the Giants will be home. The first home game with Daniel Jones and a division rival. It should be exciting. Shepard was a guy, obviously he's not on waivers. I think he was probably on a lot of people's benches. So, a lot of owners might find themselves in a tough spot, next week, with who they might have to, take out of their flex to put Shepard in. Yeah, but absolutely. You got to play the matchups, and it's a great matchup. Yeah, he shouldn't be too expensive on FanDuel or DraftKings. Yeah, for daily fantasy, absolutely. He and Disley should be pretty affordable. Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think that just about wraps it up. I think we've done, we wrapped it up, huh? Is it? Well, that's not like us. Right? Not like us.
Ellen, I'm pregnant.
Whose baby is that? Who's the man who did that to you? Gators bitches better be using Jimmy's.
Well, that wraps up Tips of the Week. I want to rock! So we're bringing a little bit of, we're going to call bonus content. Yeah, it's called bonus. Little bonus content. Bonus for our viewers. Some extra special for the viewers. They deserve it. They do. Most of them do. They put up with a lot of our crap to this point. So we're going to do a little, did you know? Did you know? I'm curious. It's a lot of interesting stuff. And did you know? Blow our minds. All right. Watch out for the mic there, you know what I mean? So 15 years ago in this week, week 3, Big Ben took over in Pittsburgh and never looked back. Guy named Maddox, Tommy Maddox, took over for Tommy Maddox. 18 years ago. Tommy Maddox. Yeah, Tommy Maddox. Remember him? Oh, we're showing our age on this 18 years ago, the same week, Tom Brady took over for Drew Bledsoe. 18 years ago. This week, we know a lot of quarterbacks took over for Rudolph for Big Ben and obviously Cam, who should be done. So anyway, Breeze and Brady entered this week. They were both tied for 522 touchdowns in their career. Peyton Manning is the leader at 539, I believe. So there's 17 behind him, and then Breeze gets injured, which really sucks because this was like a Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire situation where they would have been going back and forth. Right. And now we missed that, with the Breeze injury. It really sucks. A lot of people don't realize that would have been a really cool story. I still got my money on Breeze. Yeah, well, that'd be cool. I don't see how, but especially if Michelle doesn't get his head out of his ass. So this time last year, we had Eli, Barkley, and OBJ. Right. Now we have Daniel Jones, Gallman, and Shepard. So what a difference a year makes. You don't miss a beat. Don't miss a beat. New England, first team ever in the new era to not give up an offensive touchdown in 3 weeks straight. The first 3 weeks of a season, nobody's ever done that. I saw it. On offensive, they gave up a defensive this week. Dan Marino. Dan, the man. Dan, the man. He had a record. First 60 touchdowns he did in 25 games. What a stud. Nobody ever touched that. That's for sure. Except the new best of all time did it just this past week in 20 games. Who? Patrick the GOAT Mahomes. 5 fewer games. Say it isn't so. Crushed that record. Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Dan. Lamar Jackson's 8-2 in his career. 0-2 against the Chiefs. 8-0 against anybody else not named the Chiefs. That? Pretty impressive. Yeah. Did you know? 49ers have not been 3-0 since 1998. Wow. They are 3-0, believe it or not. Niners, 3-0. So we were talking about Miami before. They're improving. They lost in week 1 by 49.
They lost in week 2 by 43, and they got within 25 this week.
Progress.
Almost covered the spread.
Progress.
But not quite. Progress.
Another that's so bad.
Another congratulatory moment for Miami. First team ever to give up 133 points in the first 3 games of a season.
Listen.
133 points.
Setting records. Something to hang your hat on.
Yeah, you can hang your hat on that one. Dalvin Cook. No Viking running back has ever run for 100 yards in 3 straight games to start a season.
Except who?
Dalvin Cook.
I think you just said that.
Yeah, it's getting late. It's getting late. Kyle Murray was sacked 8 times, but Joe Flacco decided to be sacked 11 times.
11?
Yes.
Flacco. 11 times, huh?
And we
that
said
Green Bay defense.
Yeah, and did you know, Fournette, we said this before, 69 yards.
69, dudes!
It's a 1 rush and 14 rushes other than that for -3
yards.
And Case Keenum tonight, Monday Night Football, 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
And it could be Haskins next week against Daniel Jones in New York, the battle of the rookies.
It is set.
It'll be a great story. Whether or not they're going to pull the trigger on Keenum, he has been decent up until today.
He's looked good. Yeah,
He's against the Bears. I mean, it's a tough defense.
Even tonight, he was driving them at times.
No, he showed flashes, but I mean, he's against Mac in that ferocious defense.
So you got to go Haskins, I think, at this point. I mean,
I think
you're 0-3.
Yeah, listen, they had the Eagles, they had the Cowboys, and they had the Bears. It's
Right.
the perfect script. Like, Keenum play those games. You can't bring in Haskins as a rookie against those 3 teams. But now against the hapless Giants.
Ooh, the
why not?
hapless
The
Giants.
hapless Giants.
Giants fans are living.
The hapless Daniel Jones, Wayne Gallman-led Giants.
Wayne Gallman. The Barkley-less Giants are in trouble.
Shepard stretching the field.
So those are the Did You Knows. It was some interesting facts. I hope you guys found that interesting.
Yeah.
So.
No, hey, I appreciated it.
If you appreciate it, my job is done here.
We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We look forward to seeing you real soon.
Yeah, good luck in week 4.
Absolutely. Good luck to everybody. Good luck on your waivers and all that good stuff.
And sell Stephon Diggs as soon as possible.
Have a good night.
Later.
So wait, I would also be a paralyzed Hitler?
Yeah. Would I be a black Hitler? Yes. No.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Now, how come I gotta be crippled Hitler and he's still white Hitler?
If you got such a problem with it, Joe, just beat a hobo.
This one isn't very fun.
Championship.